Well, my new to me SIG 556. Now I've been wanting one of these for quite a while. Now SIG actually stopped selling these back in 2017, meaning this is kind of a collector's item. Now, for those of you guys out there that don't know what this is not an AR, this is not an AK. It's actually more AK than it is AR. I was over at Tennessee Silencer over in Seymour, Tennessee, and I was picking up my can right here. This is my brand new Sylvan 223 can. 2-day turnaround from when I filled out my paperwork to when I was able to actually take possession of this can. That's crazy because my previous 2 suppressors took about 13 months a piece. Anyways, I saw this up on their wall and somebody was selling this. Now, this is not quite an original gun. Previous owner did some modifications, but they're actually really good modifications. I don't see a desire to change it. So from all the research I've done, this is actually a SIG 556 Classic, but was pretty much converted into the 556 SWAT. Big difference between the Classic and the SWAT is quad rail right up here, but this is not a SIG quad rail. This is the Samson Star 556. So this is actually not an original stock either. It is a folder, but this is an AGP Arms stock. Now what's kind of cool about this rail is it's actually monolithic up top over here. So you have your handguard part right over here. Now that top rail extends all the way from the front, all the way to the back of the receiver over here. So it gives you a monolithic rail. You don't have to worry about canting or anything like that. It looks like the previous owner took that front sight off and then they stuck these Troy flip up battle sights, which I like these sights a lot. They're very robust, heavy duty. They make a nice click when you open them up. The reason I had to buy this is my absolute unicorn gun out there. The gun that I want most out of everything else is actually a SG 552, or any of the SG 550 series, to be honest. I really like the 552. I've actually seen some 553s imported, but I don't have like $5,000 to $10,000 to spend on one. So this is the next best thing. So this cost about 1,500 bucks. Used, but considering the condition, I ripped it apart. It's actually in really good shape, so I was pretty excited. And the aftermarket modifications are likely something that I would have done myself too. It's Viridian GDO 30 to the top, so I can have a green dot optic. I use this for pretty much any rifle that I'm testing that I don't have a full-time optic on it yet. I like this guy. It's got it detaches quickly from the rifle and really quick to sight in. This is the muzzle device that comes with the suppressor, and it just threads on super easy and it ratchets in place. What this did come with was a standard birdcage flash hider. Back to what I was saying before, is this actually an AR or an AK? Now, this is more of an AK than an AR, and really it's because of the internals and the guts. So the difference between this and the SG series, so the SG 550 all the way to 553, is pretty much your magwell. SIG made this to sell to the American market, and it's meant to take standard AR-15 magazines. So I tested this with 2 different types of ETS magazines, PMag, and then I tested it with the KCI magazine as well, and this thing just chewed through everything. What you'll notice is the bolt is very AK-like. This one's actually a long stroke piston, and you have 2 adjustable gas settings. The difference is this adjustable gas block right over here is like open, and then the other position is open. I guess the intention of this rifle is if your rifle gets fouled up, if your gas system gets fouled up, you take it, you rotate it, and then you're ready to go. Pretty much the same gas setting. I'm going to show you guys a basic disassembly for maintenance and why it's pretty AK-like. This video was made possible by Elite Tactical Systems. I ended up using this mag a bunch for filming this video on the SIG 556. Now ETS makes magazines, and especially these guys right here. So these are the Omega magazines. They're clear magazines, so you can see a round count, but there's a steel frame inside this magazine so you get the durability. Now I have a full review video on how these Omega magazines perform, and they just came out with one for the P320. So you SIG P320 fans out there, they now sell the Omega magazines, and they do run. Thank you ETS for supporting my channel and supporting my video. All right, now back to the SIG 556. Okay, so where your pivot pin is, you actually have a double-sided screw. That's because this is a Gen 1 model. The later generations actually also have a push pin over here. But right here on the back of the receiver, you have a push pin over here. So you push that in, pull it out. My bolt was open, my bad. Now in order to get this bolt out, you push down right here on this release, and then you can pull that little charging handle right out, just like that. And the bolt actually slides out. And does that look like an AR-15 bolt, or is that reminiscent of an AK bolt? And that's how easy it is to take that bolt out and charging handle. And just so you guys can get a peek, that's what your action looks like. It's unique, but let me show you why that trigger is unique too. Just like on the classics, you can see like a little plunger right back here. This is adjustable, you can rotate it to adjust it. But when you're squeezing that trigger, I'm actually gonna go lefty for the camera. So when you're squeezing that trigger, you get a little pushback against that. Now I've adjusted this to feel the best I can make it feel, but let's go ahead and pull that back. Trigger pull isn't actually that bad, especially after I adjusted this plunger. Right when you're on the plunger, you get a little sponginess right here. The trigger doesn't break, and there's a pretty forceful reset on it too. Here's your reset right there. So good audible reset, and the trigger doesn't feel that bad whatsoever. When I was dry firing it for the first time when I was looking to pick it up, I'm like, woo, that's weird. And it made me question if I even wanted it. But after putting some live rounds down range, it's really not that bad. And there's some consensus as to why SIG stopped making these guys back in 2017. Honestly, I think it's because it never really got adopted. People wanted the classics. They wanted the classic SG 550, 551, 552, 553, and SIG decided, let's go ahead, make this 556 and send it to the American market. So they made this for the Americans, and they made it so it takes a standard AR mag. So the looks stray a little bit from the originals or the OGs out there. Now, like I said, you can still find some of these classics on the market, but you're talking $5,000 to $10,000 for a rifle that's in good shape, and I just don't have that kind of dough to cough up for one. But this one is reminiscent, pays enough homage to the classics out there that it still feels like a different rifle. Now it's gassy, it's a gassy gun, and there's some modifications that you can make to reduce the gas, especially when you're shooting suppressed. I might consider doing that in the future. I actually really like the way it shoots, but the gun doesn't seem to be tearing itself up. So it's a feels like a different gun. It's just something other than an AR or AK. It just feels different, and that's why I like it so much. And like I said, it pays a little homage to the classics. So yeah, that's it. That's the SIG 556. Like I said, I paid $1,500 for it, and I've seen them anywhere from $1,200 all the way up to $2,000 for the 556. So I feel like with the modifications I've gotten, it's less of a collector's item, more of something I can play with that has some good practical upgrades to it. That's it, SIG 556. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys later.